Hi guys, this is AOE 2020 and I just wanted to share some things with you guys. I really love writing, and a lot of people agree that I'm pretty good at it. A lot of people have asked me for tips in the past on how to write and how to write stories and how to get them started and how to get them going. So I just thought I'd make a video for you all on what my process is like when it comes to do that, and if it helps anybody, I'm glad it helps, whether it helps somebody get an A, you know, on an assignment, or it helps somebody further a dream that they never thought they could accomplish or even get started. You know, I'm more than happy to help out with that, because, you know, are we gonna work together or are we gonna work forever? So to start with, I'm gonna read a short story, a short love story that I actually wrote this morning, and I made my outline last night, and I'll explain that at the end of the story. But just to show you that I might be, you know, I might know what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you an example of the story I wrote. And this story is called A Free Fall to Flutter from a Single Drop. I know it's kind of wordy, but so I like it. I like alliteration. We'll get into that later. So here's the story. It was 7:37. Errol needed not a single beep or buzz from a traditional alarm clock. Every morning, a blinding beam of sun ray would parade through his plaid-cladded curtains to personally peel his eyes apart. I need muffins. The man yawned in a moaning roar. Today wasn't a day for bacon and eggs. He had a brief dream of his dearly departed granny. Muffins in the morning was one of her specialties, and his personal favorite. Nothing made him feel better than biting into one of the fondest memories of his childhood. After washing his hands and face, he brushes his teeth. Once he finds his left slide, he puts them both on, laughing to himself, remembering how his very country grandmother would scold him for walking with one shoe on. That's bad luck and a big no-no. Wearing a gray tank top and gray gym shorts he slept in, he left his duplex. It didn't appear to be the same sky that beamed him back to life 15 minutes ago. Everything above him seemed to match his clothes. There wasn't much going on outside, just a waving Mr. Thornton, scenting the neighborhood with the aroma of screaming grass. 8 minutes of bopping down the road to whatever song streamed into his earbuds had passed. He was now at the gas station, V12. It was recently built, very modern. Very modern compared to the old brick building that used to reside in the same spot. This had a lot of floor-to-ceiling glass and sleek metallic frames and computerization of different things. It was a lot more crowded than the old store, also because this had 3 times as many pumps. It also had a cafe, which is where he found the blueberry muffins. He grabbed them. A pack of 2 muffins the size of large apples. He paid attention to little more than his headphones. When it came time to pay, he took out his earbuds and noticed a smile that made his heart beat harder, faster, possibly even louder than any of the dance music he'd removed from his ears. "Do you know the best way to eat these?" she asked, looking at him with large light brown eyes that would later haunt his every step back home. "Pan-fried with butter?" he said. She was amused and slightly shocked, yet impressed. "I've never met anyone who ate it like that besides me and my brother, maybe," she replied with a hint of amazement. "That's because it's a secret." He joked with a straight face. She smiled even bigger as he inserted his card into the machine. Would you like a receipt? Only if you're gonna put your number on it, just to share recipes or whatever. She was really caught off guard by this, but her smile remained genuine. In mere moments, where not a single caterpillar had dwelt, emerged dozens of butterflies that fluttered between the two. That's not gonna happen, she smirked, shaking her head. She gently grabs the phone out of his hand. She calls her own phone, then added the number and contacted Janet. He left hoping he was remembering how to walk right. That was new, he thought to himself. He looked up, and the sun was brighter than ever, and there were no more clouds in the sky. And he smiled. Thanks, Granny. And he went home and made some muffins. Okay, guys, so that was my short story, and I made the outline last night. It took me about an hour to write all of that down, and it could have been better. I'm not the best narrator, but you get the drift. It was a cute story. And the most important thing about a story that you have to remember is it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, a mistake that a lot of people make and how they get stuck when they're writing stories is that they just start writing a story and they don't have an end in mind. So I'm gonna show you that. But before we start, I want you to note some things to consider as you're writing. And oh yeah, by the way, if at any time, that's me, AOE 2020. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook, you know, so feel free to go like, comment, subscribe, share, donations, whatever, PayPal, Cash App, all AOE 2020. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing that out there. So anyway, some things to consider is vivids. And vivids are basically descriptions. You see, stories are basically, to me, they're like poems. Poems don't always have to rhyme, you know? And poems are basically, and stories in general, are basically pictures painted with words as opposed to colors and shapes. So in order to paint this picture, these are your colors right here, or at least your palette. The who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. Look, what it look like, what does it smell like, what does it taste like, what does it sound like, what does it feel like, how did they feel or think when it was being done or said. That's your palette, and the words that you use to answer those will be your colors and your shapes. Which is a metaphor, which leads me to the next part of poetry. Two more different kinds of vivids, which are more like statements, are metaphors or similes. And just for the sake of explaining it real quick for anybody who may watch this and may not know or may have forgotten what it was, or maybe the way I explain it is a little better. These are basically descriptive phrases describing whatever it is by comparing it to something similar. Sorry, I don't know why that was so hard to say. So, if I was describing a hot kitchen in the form of a metaphor, I personally would say the heat within the kitchen is like that from the deepest parts of hell. Notice that like, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the deepest part of hell. If I was using a simile, that's nearly the same thing, only instead of saying like or as, you just say it is that. So using the same example but as a simile, I would say the entire kitchen was an oven in itself. Because clearly the kitchen is an oven, but it's an oven because it's hot like an oven, but that's a metaphor. So to use it as a simile, you say it is an oven. And then you could put it together, all together, metaphor and simile, saying the same thing twice. The entire kitchen was an oven in itself. The heat within was like that from the deepest parts of hell. It always felt like it was forever on the fringe of flames. It's like that from the deepest parts of hell. Notice that like, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the deepest part of hell. If I was using a simile, that's nearly the same thing, only instead of saying like or as, you just say it is that. So using the same example but as a simile, I would say the entire kitchen was an oven in itself. Because clearly the kitchen is an oven, but it's an oven because it's hot like an oven, but that's a metaphor. So to use it as a simile, you say it is an oven. And then you could put it together, all together, metaphor and simile, saying the same thing twice. The entire kitchen was an oven in itself. The heat within was like that from the deepest parts of hell. It always felt like it was forever on the fringe of flames. Now that last sentence is another part of poetry called alliteration, and that's basically when you use the same letter that starts a word for different words, like I did with the title of this story, A Free Fall to Flutter. That's alliteration, and that's always fun to do. I like to do it, you know. You could do it too much though. I probably do it too much sometimes, but that's because I just think it's fun, you know. If you're familiar like with people like, you know, Eminem, you know, if you listen to that type of thing, he likes to do things like that. So onto the structure of composing a story. So like I was saying, a story consists of a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that goes for an entire novel or what have you. A novel is made up of chapters. Those chapters are made up of pages. Those pages are made up of paragraphs. Those paragraphs are made up of sentences. Those sentences are made up of words. And of course, those words are made up of letters. So, when I made that story, I started off writing a statement for the beginning, the middle, and the end. Just like that. I don't know if you can see it or what you can see. In the orange, that's what I started with. Arrow decides to go to the store. Arrow goes to the store, that's the middle. Arrow falls in love at the store. So that way you kind of have a path of where you're going to go with the story, and you can end it at any time if you need to. Therefore, there is no getting stuck because you've already ended it. So, in green, if you can see the green, is where I put vivids. So when I put Arrow decides to go to the store, I put what time is it. In purple, I write what I'm going to put in the story. It's morning. The sun woke him up. Also in purple. Why? Actually, I put that sun woke him up second. It's morning. Why is he going to the store? That's what it's for. He craves blueberry muffins. Why again? Why is always a good vivid for me. Blueberry muffins remind him of his granny or Nana. He wants something sweet, not bacon and eggs. Cool. Now, a paragraph normally consists of 4 sentences or more. So once you have 4 or 5 sentences, you're good. You move on to the next paragraph. Arrow goes to the store. That's the middle part of the story. So, in purple, I write, Arrow gets dressed. In green, for my vivids, what is he wearing? What color? Sweatpants and a t-shirt, tennis shoes. Color? All gray. Next, Arrow leaves his home. What kind of home is it? What color is that? Tan duplex. Then what? He walks to the store. What was it like outside? Barely cloudy. In green, also vivid. Is anything happening on the way? He sees his neighbor doing what? Mowing the lawn. In green again. Anything else? They wave. It's that simple. And all of that stuff is a blueprint for my story so far. And I rewrite all of that. Now I'm mapping out this road to get this story done. Now we're already at the middle. In orange, what do I have planned for the I don't know if you can see. Here we go. What do I have planned for the ending? Arrow falls in love at the store. And purple, I'm writing a story in just brief sentences. Arrow arrives at the store. What kind of store is it? What does it look like? It's a new building. Replaced a much older one. It's a gas station. Covered in glass mostly. The old one was brick. You see, I'm painting a picture because you always, being that your reader isn't there, you have to help them imagine what it is that you're trying to express or project. And then another kind of vivid that I like to throw in is random trivia. It just kind of moves the story along. I think I skipped over that. I was gonna put that store was actually the first one built out of a series of stores, the first V12 or something like that, but I decided against it. Random trivia is just kind of a filler sometimes, you know, fills up space and, you know, it just kind of shakes things up a little bit. But anyways, Arrow grabs the muffin, and that's in purple. That's where we're going. Vivid in green. Describe something. Anything. Sometimes you just have to describe something. What's in the store? In purple, I have the store is crowded, like every morning. In green, now what? Arrow notices the cashier. She's new. In green, the vivid. What is he thinking or feeling now? In purple, I just write, he thinks she's awesome in every way. His heart is beating fast. Arrow's paying for his muffins. She smiles. They begin to talk. Now in green, it should be about what, but I just rode with it. In purple, I also have, she just so happens to eat her muffins the same way. In green, I have, how is that? Buttered and griddled, or pan-fried, I wrote. Then Arrow introduces himself. The attraction is mutual. Arrow goes back home, and all the clouds are gone. Now that's the blueprint for the story that I mostly followed, but you don't have to follow to the T. And this was, when I read this to you in a video, it was actually the first time I read it all the way through. I just wrote it and I walked here. So normally you would read it about 3 or 4 more times and replace some words, use better words, see what fits better, see what flows better. But it's just that simple. And the beauty of this story is, if I wanted to add another little mini chapter or keep the story going, I would use this same structure on maybe they go on a date, or maybe they talk on the phone, or this happens or that happens, and I will always start off with the orange, beginning, middle, end. They're not feeling it. So what's going on in green and vivids? What does this look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What, where is it? What time is it? You know what I'm saying? How? Why? And that's, I mean, and granted, there's a lot more to it than that, but this will get you on the correct path. There's a lot more to it, actually, but you can do it if you want to. If you can at least get this done, you will get better at it. Practice makes progress. All right? So I hope that it helps. Once again, this is AOE. Also known as The Adventures of Errol Fisher. That's AOE 2020. And like I said, share, comment, like, subscribe, all of that. All right? And if you want to donate so I can make me some more videos and stuff like that, go ahead. You'll find me AOE 2020 at PayPal. PayPal me AOE 2020 Cash App. You know, but either way, I'll do them anyway. But you know, it's nice though. But like I said, I just want to help out. So if this helps you, you're very welcome. Even if it helps one person get an A or a passing grade, or it helps somebody start, you know, a story that they did not know how to get going, you know, and they had a concept for a story this entire time. Well, now you have a bit of guidance that hopefully helps you, and then maybe it will lead you to something else that will make it even better, because, you know, there's always room for improvement. Even in this little lesson, this is my first time doing anything like this, but this is one of the things that I'm good at, so I thought I'd share this with whoever wants to you know, take part in what I share. And you know, I feel that's what's up. So everybody have a great day. Those are some white ibises flying by. I'm in Winter Haven, Florida, by the way. Polk County, Florida, Central Florida. So it's a pretty place. But you guys take care. This is AOE 2020 signing off. You guys take it easy. All right, peace.